Okay, here's the question. Do we really need expensive makeup to look good over 50? Today, I'm putting that theory to the test. I picked up a full face of drugstore makeup, including the L'Oreal Visible Lift Foundation. And for this video, luxury makeup is officially it's off limits. Let's see if these affordable products can give us the same fresh, flattering results on mature skin like mine. Hi friends, welcome back to Glow Up Over 50 with Kim. If you are new here, I share makeup, skincare, and beauty tips specifically for mature skin. Today I'm trying a full face of drugstore makeup. And honestly, I'm excited because some of my favorite products over the years have come from the drugstore. So we'll talk about the application. We'll talk about whether any of these products are good enough to earn a permanent place in my makeup bag. This is what I have for you today. I have two foundations for you from L'Oreal. One is the True Match formulation and the other is the Visible Lift. So we have to decide which one to choose. This one is N1. It looks very, very light. This is probably going to look, I'm probably going to look like a ghost in this. This looks a little dark, but I think might be better because I self-tanned this weekend. So this could be a little bit better. I also have an under eye concealer. I have the L'Oreal bronzer, the L'Oreal True Match blush, and the Lash Paradise from L'Oreal. The rest is still drugstore, but not L'Oreal. It's the e.l.f. Eyeshadow palette. It's the Keep It Ethereal palette. I also have a lip product from e.l.f. that we'll be trying out. So I'm just wanting to see how these drugstore products stack up against my luxury products. For my foundation, I'm going to want to see, does it compare to my NARS light reflecting? Does it compare to the Chanel, or I'm not going to stack it up against, I'm not going to compare it to the Estee Lauder Double Wear because that's a full coverage foundation. I'm looking at medium coverage high-end foundations and how these drugstore formulations are comparing to those. I think that's most fair. So far I have moisturizer on my skin. I still kept with the drugstore concept. I have Olay on my face. It has a super cream with sunscreen. It has an SPF of 30. Loving this. This has been going well underneath all of my foundations, by the way. And I also have my sunscreen on. I had to go off par just a little bit with that. I didn't have a drugstore formulation, but I did use the Innisfree sunscreen with an SPF of 36. So I should be covered with sunscreen. I've also spot checked my dark spots with some NARS concealer, and I've prepped my eyes with my P. Louise eye primer. All right, so that should get us started. The reason why I spot check my dark spots before I do my foundation is because I find that I use less foundation when I do this step beforehand. And I do have, it's covered pretty well right now, but you see some freckling. I don't mind that so much. I do mind my melasma right here. I just have some dark spots that are just almost impossible to cover. So those are the ones that I'm considering while I am testing out new foundations. So let's get started. All right, the decision that we need to make is between these two. I will be testing both at some point. Let's go ahead and let's do the L'Oreal Visible Lift first. This has a sunscreen of 17. It is a medium coverage, and it also has vitamin C. Vitamin C will brighten our complexion. So with a full coverage, I use a wet sponge to apply. With anything lower than that, I will either do it with my fingers or I will do it with a brush. Let's go in with a brush first. I always start in the center of my face and work my way out. These are the areas people are going to be seeing more. We tend to have more imperfections here. Mine is the opposite. Mine are more on the perimeters of the face. But wherever you need most coverage. I go in for the second pump. All right. Let's really put this bad boy to test. Make sure we go down here, our neck. An influencer reminded me this weekend, let's be gentle on our skin. We've been dragging so hard, even if we use our hands or sponge or whatever, just be a little more gentle with how we're approaching our skin. We're doing this every day. Well, I do it every day. You may not, but let's just be very cognizant of how we're treating our skin, the main organ of our bodies. Isn't that amazing? Don't forget the ears, back of the ears, especially me. I wear my hair up a lot. So, all right. It's looking a little dark to me, but I think it's better than the too light that the other one would have given me. The shade, by the way, if you're doing a shade comparison, is 147. It's creamy natural. All right. So let me see in my mini mirror here what this looks like. All right. Okay. I think I'm going to stop there with the coverage. What do you think? Can I go in for one more? Maybe a little half pump. Let's do a little half pump there. So I was explaining to my husband the other day, drugstore foundations and makeup in general are not what they used to be. Drugstore formulations in the 80s and 90s, if you were to wear those out, you knew they were drugstore. It looked drugstore-like. The products, they were just very waxy, very fake looking. Not anymore. I mean, these products really are looking and feeling like higher end products. So why not? Why not wear these if it looks just as well? And we'll see. That's what we're doing. If it looks just as well, why not? Save some money in the long run, right? Okay, so this is the foundation. This is the L'Oreal Visible Lift Serum Absolute Foundation. Actually, they may not even call it a foundation. Do they call it a foundation? Okay, but we're using it as our foundation. All right. Let's go ahead. I usually start with eyes, but I didn't today. But let's go into this e.l.f. palette and choose a transition shade. I'm going to choose this one right here. All right, I'm going to take a medium fluffy eye brush, similar to, I'm running out of brushes. Not really. Tap, tap, tap. And try to keep the eyes open with hooded eyes. Go above the crease. If you're interested in how to treat hooded eyes, how to put eye makeup on, a full tutorial on that, I will link it here. I find it helpful. All right, so where do you stand with drugstore products? Are you on board with them? Are you against them? Some things you wear, what are some of your favorite drugstore products? Let's start there. Let's comment below. What are some of your favorite drugstore products? And do you think you have a dupe for the product and as a dupe for a luxury product? I would love to try that out. That would be a fun video. If you have ideas, other ideas of how I can grow this channel, what ideas you have for me, things that you would like me to do on this channel to help you. And please let this channel be interactive for you. Talk with other people. These are people in our age group. They have pretty much the same concerns, maybe not exactly, but similar to yours and mine. So let's share them. Let's talk about them. I'm turning 51 on Wednesday as I am filming this. In just a couple days, I turned 51. So I've been thinking a lot about age, especially with starting this channel, with how I'm looking, and wrinkles have appeared that I didn't know existed. Sagging has appeared that I didn't know existed. It's kind of a very humbling experience to be on camera every day, truly. So I would appreciate your support, and I would like to be a support for you as well. All right, so we have our transition shade going on here. Let's choose a shade to get some depth out of this look. Let's choose this terracotta looking bad boy right there. And we're going to place him right on the crease, maybe create a little V outside of the eye, the outer eye, and in that crease. Start flicking and shading upward. Isn't makeup fun? Every time I do it, this is so relaxing for me. I go into much more depth in this video about hooded eyes, why I do it. And it does look a little funky. I will give you that until all the shading is done. And once the blending is complete, then we can judge what needs to be done. But bring it on home. Bring it on home to me. Any drugstore foundations other than L'Oreal that you would like for me to try for you before you spend your money, I'd be happy to do that. All right, let's blend. See what I'm normally seeing. So I pray to God this is filming. Well, it's not. I'm just talking into the air. All right, I'll stop there. And I will put a topper, a shimmer topper, and that one will be this one right there. I just go in right with my finger and place it right on the mobile lid. I had to go digging for an eyeliner from the drugstore, but I did find one. I found one from Milani. I've used it before. This one is semi-sweet. Here's the shade right there. You really do have to warm this up to get it going. I miss my Sarah Creole here. But warming it up does help. If you don't do that, it's like you're trying to color something with a wet crayon. Just going to do about 1/4 of my bottom. This has a little shader at the bottom, so I can buff that out a little bit if I like. As I've gotten older, I try to keep this part a little lighter. I no longer use black unless it's a nighttime affair. The word that's coming to my mind is classy. That's not the word I'm trying to find, but a more formal event. There we go. Day to day, I've been using brown. And as I've been excitedly sharing in all my videos, I've switched from black to brown mascara, not realizing what a big difference that is going to make. I will link that one as well. That really, really has made a huge difference, the comparison between black and brown mascara. Never even realized it. Which one do you wear? Do you wear black every day? Do you wear brown? I want to know. Okay, let's do the concealer first before we do any kind of bottom lid eye work. And for that, I do have a L'Oreal product that looks very, very light, but it is the true match, especially against the darker foundation. But doe foot applicator, and I go in very lightly here, the inner eye, outer eye, pushing that eyeshadow in an upwards direction so I can blend more of the shadow here. You see where I'm going with that? Yeah. You trust me now? Do you trust me yet? Okay. Let me find a concealer brush. Okay. There's this one. This one is a Morphe. Really should have color corrected, but I do not have a drugstore color corrector. I use Colleen Rothschild. I use a peach color corrector to deal with the blue hues underneath my eyes. Concealer is a big deal underneath our eyes. We should go 1 to 2 shades lighter than our natural complexion. That's about right here. Now the concealer that we use anywhere else, like I mentioned when I was spot checking, that needs to be dead on. That needs to be right on your complexion so that doesn't stand out. But the one underneath your eyes, this is here to not only cover, but to brighten. So we need lighter coverage, shade-wise and product-wise. Okay. If we pile this on here and overdo it, within 30 minutes, this is going to be all settled into lines and creases that we didn't even know that we had. So be very careful here, and be careful how I'm kind of being a little harsh myself, and especially this right here. Try not to pull this area too much. We're trying to preserve this tissue here. We don't need any more sagging and dragging, right? So let's help ourselves out by not being too harsh. All right, I think that's blended. Before that has any time to crease, let's set it. I'm using e.l.f.'s Soft Halo. Is that what's called? Halo Glow. All right. This isn't a powder brush. This is a powder brush. Tap lightly, just to set. Okay, let's move on to, I don't have a contour product from the drugstore, but I do have a Lumi bronzer. So let's play with this a little. I put the cap on wrong and it disrupted the smoothness, but we'll put a little right here on the perimeter. Little right here, right there. This really should not be a contour product because it doesn't have enough gray in it. So this is a true bronzing product. My favorite brush for things of this nature is this brush right here. This is a flat angle brush. harsh. Let's be gentle. My dog even agrees. All right. This is perfect where I live anyway. It's perfect bronzing weather. Spring moving into summer. Getting our self-tanners back out, right? I really did some damage laying out in the sun, as you can tell. 80s and 90s girl, right out there. Crisco oil. Who was with me? Yeah. Here we were. We thought we were something, huh? We didn't know better. When you know better, you do better, right? Okay. So there is our bronzing product. Now, since this is a cream, we can get away with putting some powder on top to kind of seal the deal. This is the Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear Bronzer from L'Oreal. Take my MAC. Why did I blow on that? I never blow on my brushes. Okay. All right. All right. I did get a blush product from L'Oreal as well. This is her True Match blush. This is in... I don't see the shade, but I will put it in the description box. It's a very pretty pink. It's a powder, but it's so finely milled. It feels almost like a cream. I'm always on my soapbox about mature skin needing cream or liquid products, and here I am putting a powder blush on. But man, this is just, it looks and feels a little bit like a cream. Let's see how it performs. Tap, tap. Way, way, way up on our cheekbones. Placement has definitely changed here. Used to be right here for rosy cheeks. Now it's to lift my face a little. And I used to just put it here. Now I take it around for some cohesiveness. I'll also link how important placement is in makeup in this video as well. Placement is key. Why we put makeup where we do, why it's changed, why it should change, why it may even change again. Okay, so there we are. Still praying to God this is videoing. Okay. All right, so there we are. May want to go back in with a sponge at this point, a dry one, just to kind of seal, lock everything in, press into the skin. Okay. All right, let's see how that performs against some of my other higher end blushes. I have a ton of them. Merit. Oh my. Charlotte Tilbury. Chantecaille. Got a number of blushes over there. Drugstore and higher end, but let's see how this one compares. Okay. Let's move to eyes. Eyebrows shape the face, right? I do use a NYX Professional micro brow pencil first. Well, first I go in and I fluff my brows. Push them all up. To train them, sometimes I take them this way to start training them to go up. You're the boss. Okay, all right. Make sure my arch is there. Go across the center of your nose, upwards towards your temple, and you want your arch to be just about right there. So you want a little bit of a flick upwards there at the end. Here's my NYX Lift and Snatch. Okay, then I will take e.l.f.'s Eyebrow Lift Gel and go in and in the inner part of the brow, lift these eyebrow hairs upward and lock them in with the wax. Lifting, lifting, lifting. Giving ourselves little facelifts every morning. Minus the doctor bill. Any favorite eyebrow products? Because I like this one. This is one I use every day pretty much, but you know, it's not very long lasting. Do you know of one that is? I'll take drugstore or high end at this point, please. I'll also use sometimes the NYX brow glue. Depends on the mood I'm in, I guess. It's just okay. Let me find my glue. I use my Duo glue, also from the drugstore. Okay. These are being persnickety, so let me work on these and I will come right back. This desk. Okay, yes, Lash Paradise. Here we are. And it is brown. Get off all the gunk first. Go in underneath the brows, wiggle and blink. Underneath, wiggle, blink, and continue. Yeah, much, much softer. This is getting some pretty good height. I've seen higher, but you know, this is good too. I try not to spend a lot of money on mascara because truly it's so hard to see the difference. You have to really, really be looking sometimes. And once you are sure that every brow is adequately covered, root to tip, we have to make the decision if we're going to do the bottom. I'm going to put just a touch. I know some people who leave this completely blank, and that's good too. I also know those who go all the way across. You do you. I'm just giving suggestions and what I have found to brighten and lighten and lift my face. I have my experience that I can pass along. Okay. I didn't curl this yet because I had just put the glue. So let's see if this is going to stand the test of time. It looks like it's going to. Look at the difference. Wow. Gunk remover. What is your favorite mascara? Is this coming off? Oh my gosh. Let's break again. I'll be back. Okay, take two. This does seem a little more gobby than it should. I don't know if it's maybe it's been sitting out in the drugstore a while, waiting to be taken home, or if that's really the consistency. If this is really the consistency, they need to thin this out a little more because it can get a little gobby and gunky. And that on the brow, or on the eyelashes, excuse me, will give you spider lashes. It'll look like you have little spiders. And I don't find that attractive. It's worth it. And you are worth it. I want you to know that. We have made it to this ripe, older, mature age. We have wisdom, and the lines in our faces, they each tell a story. As hard as it gets sometimes to get older, let's try to embrace that we're one of the blessed ones that are getting to grow older. Little faux pas. Let's move on to lips. I have a, let's see, I have a NYX product. Let's do, this one is London. Beautiful shade there, a very light terracotta. Let me wipe some of the stuff off. I also have lip videos on how to keep our lipstick on longer without feathering. I can link that as well. But we want to overline the bottom pouty area. Okay, and for our last product, I will add e.l.f.'s. Oh my goodness, I just had it. Here it is. It is in Rose Latte. Very, very pretty shade. Look at that. It's going to give a nice satiny finish. Thought it went well with the blush. This is not a lipstick. I believe they call it a lip balm. Oh, no, they do say lipstick. Okay. I was wrong. All right. Let's bring this down. Why? I don't know. Look at this. It will not wind back down. Okay. Let's powder. I'll powder with the e.l.f. Halo Glow as well. We will take a puff, go into our powder. You can pour just a little bit into your cup. Into the lid, rather. Make sure you're not getting too much. Cover the T-zone around your nose. I get pretty oily around this area. You don't want to powder the whole thing. That's going to dull you down, and we want to keep that luminosity. So to create more lift and to give more of like a highlight right here, draw the eye upwards by doing our powder same way. See? See the lift? I'm not making it up. Okay, going back in. Still with the same powder, going back in. So we want to keep this all untouched. Keep this all untouched. Just do what you have to, okay? And then you can go back through and wisp it all the way. There. So if you have tried any of these products that I have gone over today, I want to know. I want to know which one is your favorite, which one stood out to you, and do you think that in any of the pictures that you may have seen when I've had luxury products on, do you see a big difference? Maybe I'll put a comparison right here, but I want to hear from you. Let me know what you think about this, what other products that you would like to see on this channel, what other brands that are affordable that you would like to see. I want to know, and I will do that for you. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will also post next the e.l.f. video that I did, so you can compare the e.l.f. video to L'Oreal. So thank you again, and I'll see you next time.